honest, then we were complicit. That speech didn't sit well with the so-called peacekeepers. A week later, I received an official letter from the UN Secretary General's office. It said my remarks had caused diplomatic tension and undermined regional cooperation. They asked me to appear before the Assembly, not to speak freely, but to clarify my position. Let me be clear, they didn't want a clarification, they wanted a confession, and they didn't stop there. Calls came in from Paris, from Washington, from Tel Aviv. Back channels were activated, offers were made, threats followed. We can reconsider development aid if you're willing to walk it back. We understand your position, but surely you don't want sanctions. Then, the final blow. They drafted a speech for me, 4 pages, apologizing for tone, 3 pages, apologizing for language, and 5 pages reminding me to reaffirm our shared values. Whose values? Because the last time I checked, our values didn't include silence in the face of genocide. I could have stayed home. I could have ignored the invitation. But I knew what this moment meant. If I didn't speak, they'd rewrite the story. If I didn't show up, they'd say I backed down. So I flew to New York with no script, no apology, and no intention of bowing. But before I tell you what happened in that chamber, let me tell you about the week leading up to it. Because that's when I discovered just how deep their panic really went. 3 days after I received their drafted apology, my phone rang at 2 a.m. Not my official line, my personal phone. The one that only 5 people in the world have access to. A voice I didn't recognize said, "President Try, this is Ambassador Richardson from the U.S. State Department. We need to talk." 20 minutes later, a Seat black SUV pulled up to the presidential palace. No flags, no diplomatic plates, no advance notice. Ambassador Richardson stepped out with 2 men who never introduced themselves. "Mr. President," he said, settling into my office without invitation. "We have a problem." He opened a leather briefcase and spread documents across my desk. Satellite photos of Burkina Faso's gold mines. Financial records of our newly negotiated Chinese infrastructure deals. Intelligence reports on Russian military advisors we'd never officially announced.